A very good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us for today's online session. Today we have assembled here in the memory of late Professor Devendra Mishra sir, and Devendra Mishra Institute of Statistics has organized this memorial lecture. I, Dr. Priyadarshini, welcome all the distinguished personalities from the field of statistics and all the participants to this online memorial lecture. Today we have with us two eminent speakers to deliver their lectures on this auspicious occasion. To start with, first of all, I request Dr.Amarendra Mishra sir, Director DMIS, to start today's program by garlanding the portrait of late Professor Devendra Mishra sir.
Thank you, Dr. Priyadarshini. I, on behalf of all of you, garlanding the portrait of late Professor Devendra Mishra.
Now I request you, sir, to formally welcome the guests and participants to this program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Dear friends, I, on behalf of myself, all the members of the and all the students of Devendra Mishra, the students of late Professor Mishra are spread all over the world today, and many of them have earned international repute and recognition in their respective fields, and have glorified the name of their teacher, Professor Devendra Mishra. Dr. Markandey Rai, one of the key speakers of today, is one of them. He worked at the United Nations Habitat in various capacities for more than 22 years and is currently a senior advisor to the United Nations Habitat. Dr. Rama Shankar, the second key speaker, is at present head of the Department of Statistics, Assam University, a central university in Assam. After serving for many years abroad, he has excelled himself in the field of statistics and have more than 160 research papers to his credit in international journals and books in mathematics and statistics. My special welcome to them and my thanks to them for readily accepting my invitation to deliver the talks today. The Devendra Mishra Memorial Lecture is organized every year on 6th of July on the 10th anniversary of Professor Mishra. The Devendra Mishra Institute of Statistics was established 3 years back in the memory of Professor Mishra, keeping in view his invaluable contributions to the teaching of statistics and making statistics popular among people. The main objectives of the Institute are to make statistics popular among people and to highlight its importance and its common applications in one's daily life, as statistics has become the key technology of the today era. And the day is not very far when the knowledge of statistics would be as much essential for a common man as it is reading and writing today. The other objectives are to impart teaching in data analysis, to undertake projects related to statistical analysis, to guide the aspirants of Indian Statistical Service and Indian Administrative Service and other competitive examinations, to conduct some short-term specific courses for researchers in various disciplines such as medical science, social sciences, commerce, business, and other fields. For the last 1.5 years or so, the institute couldn't impart any offline course to students due to the pandemic COVID. But now, on the increasing demand of the students, it is proposed to start certain courses globally online. The information regarding this may be have from the Facebook page of the institute and from its website. I once again welcome you all at this memorial lecture. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome address. Now I request Mr. Ajit Kumar Sinha, sir, Managing Director, DMIS, to present a short life sketch of late Professor Devendra Mishra, sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Fidarshni. I would like to present a brief history about Professor Devendra Mishra. Professor Devendra Mishra was born in a village named Sonbarsa, Sahapur of district Tahabar, now known as Bhojpur, on 29 December 1919 in a respectable Brahmin family. He was the youngest son of late Devendra Mishra and mother Lakshmi Devi. He completed his middle class schooling from the Shahpur Middle School. His father wanted him to go to Varanasi for Vedic education. The reason behind this was that Mishraji's 3 elder brothers had died within 10 to 15 years of age, making his father strongly believe that English education did not suit his family. So his father didn't want to take risks in the case of his only surviving son. But Mishraji's mother didn't believe in all these blind feelings and was firm that her son will get education through English system. And to her firmness, the family members had to yield. Might be because Mishraji was destined to be a great statistician and a great teacher as well. After doing matriculation from the Calcutta University, Mishraji did his IA and BA from Patna University in first division with high marks in all these examinations. After getting BA degree, the question was what to do further. As Mishraji was the first to have education in his family, his father had a desire that his son should join some service, and therefore he joined as a mathematics teacher in Bharoli High School under Shahpur Police Station. After teaching for some years, he moved to Behta High School as a mathematics and geography teacher. But his aspiration was to have higher education in order to have greater success in life. Then came a turning point in his life. In the year 1948, he saw an advertisement of Patna University in Bihar Gazette about opening of a new diploma course in statistics. Mishra ji came to Patna and joined the course, leaving behind the service of a teacher at Behta High School. After doing diploma, he completed MA in statistics with highest marks from Patna University and was adjudged first class first. His record was there for about 20 years, and to his great surprise and satisfaction, it was broken by his son, Dr.Amarendra Mishra. He was appointed as a lecturer in statistics in Patna University in the same year of 1951, where he topped at the examination, statistics MA examination. Just within a few years, he was known as a brilliant lecturer, and in 1957, Patna University sent him to Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu, Nepal, as an examination supervisor. As in those days, the examinations of Tribhuvan University were conducted by Patna University. Mishra ji became reader in the year 1966, and in 1972 rose to the highest post of Professor of Statistics in Patna University. Till then, he had become a known name in statistics in the country and was getting invitations from different universities of the country for delivering lectures as well as for other teaching obligations. He became head of the Department of Statistics, Patna University, 3 times within a span of 15 years. His contribution as member and head of various academic committees are still remembered in the university. He represented Government of India at Bangkok International Conference in the year 1972 on the mechanism of population control and research. As because of his untiring efforts, one of its units started functioning in Patna University right from the year 1966, and its entire expenditure is borne by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Patna University's Directorate of Distance Education came into existence in the year 1974 under his able leadership, and Professor Mishra was made its founder director. He was also the Dean Science Faculty, and many students did research work and got PhD degree under his admirable supervision. Many of his students are still earning laurels in India and other parts of the world. Besides teaching obligations, Professor Mishra ji was also actively associated with many social and cultural activities. He also served as a state head of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad and later became its All India Vice President. He was also among founder members of Pragya Samiti and for many years served as its Vice Chairperson and Chairman of Council of Patrons. Such was his personality that whoever had an opportunity to meet him used to get fascinated. a man of very simple living, of pleasing social nature, full of intellect in his talks. He was a legend in real sense of the term. After retirement from service in 1983, he generally used to live in his village with his wife. His wife, Amravati Devi, left for her heavenly abode in December 2004. After 7 months of her passing away, Professor Mishra ji also left for his last journey at his Patna residence of Rajendra Nagar on 6th of July 2005. Thus, a life full of struggle and achievements came to an end. Shahabad lost a jewel. However, it would be very appropriate to say that he is not dead, but is still alive in the physical body of his eldest son. As is a saying, like father, like son. His eldest son, Professor Dr.Amarendra Mishra, has literally proved it by beating his father's academic records and achievements. He glorified his father all the more. Professor Amarendra Mishra also made a mark by establishing himself as an international scholar of statistics, besides chairing all the posts such as Head of Statistics Department, Dean of Faculty of Science, Directorate of Distance Education, and many more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for making us aware about late Professor Dr. Devendra Mishra, sir. Now I request our eminent speaker, Dr. Markandey Rai, sir, for his lecture. But before that, I would like to introduce, sir. Dr. Markandey Rai has served United Nations Habitat in various capacities for more than 22 years. He is at present the Senior Advisor to the United Nations Habitat and Chancellor of 2 universities, Global Open University Nagaland and Indira Gandhi Technological and Medical Sciences University, Arunachal Pradesh. He has been honored with Hind Ratna Award in 2006. He was conferred the title of Ambassador of Peace in 2009. He is widely traveled man and presided many international conferences of scientific and political nature. He has the honor to address a number of parliaments and global parliamentarian forums. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to you, sir, for delivering your talk. Sir.
Today's MC Priyadarshini ji, respected Professor Amarendra Mishra ji, Mr. Ajit Kumar Sinha ji, Professor Rama Shankar Mishra ji, my good friend and my senior Professor R.N. Mishra ji, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Today is a great day for me. I received a call on Wednesday, the 30th June 2021, during the midday from Professor Amarendra Mishra ji, my senior colleague and Guru Bhai, who does not need any introduction. He proposed that to keep the tradition alive, as in the past, he is thinking to organize the memorial lecture in the sweet memory of our Guruji, Professor Devendra Mishra, and he wanted that I should deliver this lecture. I cannot explain my joy and emotions, and without checking my calendar and diary, and without a moment delay, I said, yes, let us do it. He asked me to give the topic of my presentation latest by next day, midday. I had time of 24 hours maximum to think over. I never like to cross the deadline or to be reminded, so I started seeing the dream. And Puja Gurudev came to rescue me in my dream. He suggested me that why don't you tell the memories of good time spent with me? reflection on the past time in Patna will be the most appropriate for the occasion. And I prayed in his honor. And prayer was like this. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaram, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Akhand Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Yat Padam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Pandam Guru Pada Padma Paraga, Suruchi Subhasha Sarasa Anuraga. I think everybody knows the meaning of my prayer to him. I will simply say that with these prayers, I want to convey that Professor Devendra Mishra is immortal. He was my Guru, he is my Guru, and he will remain my Guru forever. The way it has been presented by Professor Amarendra Mishra ji and Mr. Sinha, I think they have already explained and they have vouched whatever I am going to present this hypothesis. Only this, his form has been changed from physical body to the astral body. It is not only in our mind and soul. He is everywhere, in flowers, in plants, in air, in chair and tables, and everywhere. You may call me cynical, but I shall not call him late. Professor Devendra Mishra. He is with us all the time. He is here with us. Late is a very wrong word. There is no synonymous word in Hindi for late. Vishesh Swargiya, Bankutvasi, Akshardham Nivasi, but not late. Devendra Mishra was never late in his life. Late, literal meaning, if you go by Oxford Dictionary, there are 2-3 meanings. One meaning is acting, arriving, or happening after proper time. A person no longer alive or having a specific status. None is true about Professor Devendra Mishra. He is still with us, and it has been confirmed by one of the poetry which Professor Amarendra Mishra shared with me yesterday. मैं अमर हूँ, मैं मरूंगा नहीं, जीवित रहूंगा उनकी देह में, उनके रक्त में, झांकूंगा उनके ललाट से, उनकी नाक से, उनकी आंखों से। मैं अमर हूँ, मैं मरूंगा नहीं। मैं कहता हूँ कि अमरेंद्र मिश्रा जी की ये कविता मेरे मन को छू गई। It touched my heart, and I am saying the same thing. He was never late in his life. So how can I say late? He was never late whenever I called him. He was never late when I rang the doorbell. He rushed to see me as God does with his disciples. So, the way Mr. Sinha has mentioned that he was born on 29th of December 1919, which was Monday in the village Sonbarsa. Today is Tuesday. But everybody, Mangalam, I shall quote Padma Puran. And Padma Puran say the conversation between Lord Vishnu and Dev Rishi Narad. And I will quote that one that will answer my feeling about my Guruji, Professor Devendra Mishra. And that you all will feel that one. He is here with us when we are talking about him, and feel the presence of it. Naham basami vaikunthe yogi nam hridayena cha madbhaktya yatra gayanti tastatishthami narada. Lord Bhagavan Vishnu says to Narad that I go there where my disciples, my followers, my bhakta remember me. Today we are remembering him. It is a memorial lecture about him. He is with us by all means. And so Devendra Mishra is here, he is seeing us and blessing us today. And I will last quote before I go to my presentation. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya namani grirati naro prani Tatha Sariyani Vihaya Jirna Manyati Sanyati Navanidhi. That is what Krishna said to Arjun in Gita. That this is just, soul does not die. It changes the body as we change the old cloth and wear the new one. It means he is seeing us and praising us. I shall not use late for him, again I am today. He is in Akshardham and seeing us all the time. He was not an ordinary person. He is immortal. We all are his manifestation. I will underline, we are all his manifestations. He is living with us, through us. And the way it was said that Amarendra Mishra is worthy son of the worthy father. So how can we say that he is late? He is not. So dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, with these few words, it is a great privilege to be invited to deliver the Professor Devendra Mishra Memorial Lecture this year by Devendra Mishra Institute of Statistics and its director, Professor Amarendra Mishra ji. I will say, worthy son of worthy father. An important tradition, these lectures have been delivered by a galaxy of eminent leaders, scientists and intellectuals. I am very aware of the many footsteps that I am following today. I am even more conscious of this honor. And as someone seeking to connect my academic life to Professor Devendra Mishra ji, I can think of no better subject than to focus on a few reminiscences of his today. Ladies and gentlemen, his house is Rajendra Nagar, the way Mr. Sinha has mentioned, was the ideal location for our meetings. It was like Janak Darbar. You must have all known the father of Sita ji and father-in-law of Rama. Janak was called Videha, where Munis, Rishis like Yajnavalkya, Sanat Kumar and others used to visit and get into deep meditation and had regular debates on spirituality, philosophy of life and any topical issues including academic was a routine matter. Every day, in the morning and evening, at least some people will be sitting and discussing on various social and political current and burning issues. I had seen many politicians like late Ramanand Tiwari, Professor K.K. Tiwari and late Shivnath Pandey ji, Professor Gayadhar Nath Mishra ji discussing the local, national and global issues. Scholars and politicians like Dr. Amarendra Mishra, who is no more but I have great respect for him, to Professor Rajendra Prasad from IIT Kanpur, a regular visitor. We got benefited from those discussions. Professor Mishra was such a great human being that he gave importance to big and small alike. Everybody was welcome and his or her views were listened to with great patience by him. He was kind and helpful to all, humorous also, telling several couplets and jokes to us from his senior colleagues and others, like how much is distance between, I can remember, one time he mentioned like how much distance is between a Jhaji, there are many Jhaji in Patna, Jhaji and Paji. There was discussion between two of his colleagues, one Jhaji and other was Mishra, and Jhaji replied, only 1 feet, because they both were sitting on the same table. So these, I still remember when he had passed his MA, he mentioned to me that he was in the village and he was feeding his cow and some maybe oxen. And somebody was passing from the street and he mentioned just jokingly, "Pade Farsi beche tel, ye dekho kudrat ka khel." And Mishra ji responded to him, come. It is not like that. It is like, Farsi पढ़ के भी बेच सकता है तेल, ये देख कुदरत का खेल. Means I am MA in statistics, gold medalist, but still I can feed the cow when I come to my house. That was the greatness of Devendra Mishra ji. He can come to the level of villagers when he go to the village, when he will come to a top academician when he comes to the university. He was a great politician and great thinker and great mentor when it comes to the social and political life. Many people used to come for his advice and guidance, even the ministers and the politicians like Devendra Mishra and others. I recall that I will just now try to connect myself with Devendra Mishra ji, how I came and what I learned. I recall that I came to Patna in July 1976 from Bhagalpur. What a coincidence, is it not? That I came in July 1976. I had seen Professor Devendra Mishra ji only once in Bhagalpur when he came for a Viva Voce examination of my senior batch, and he delivered a lecture in Marwadi College on the invitation from Mr. A.L. Saran, who was the head of the Department of Statistics in that college. I was very much impressed with his lecture, explaining many complex terminology in a simple manner to be understood by students and faculty members. He was an extraordinary teacher and he knew the art of teaching. That is the most important thing. That being a topper or great intellectual does not mean that you can be a good teacher also. Teaching is an art. You have to know how to transmit the knowledge to the audience, coming to their level and simplify it. And I give the example, when Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, all scientists declared him mad and nobody understood what is the theory of relativity is talking to. But when Bertrand Russell wrote ABC of relativity, it simplified, and Einstein also could believe that how he simplified so much the theory of relativity that a layman also can understand what the theory of relativity is. So teacher is the one who comes to the level of the audience and the student and who can transmit the knowledge in a very simple way. That was Professor Devendra Mishra ji. The knowledge to the audience in such a way that the subject becomes easy to understand. After passing master degree in statistics and having no future in Bhagalpur, I came to explore and try my luck in Patna. You know that in that life when you have done your master degree from the university and you are looking for and searching for your future, it is a very difficult time that time. I was passing through the same time, same period in my life, and every day you know that in life is a new day and one has to meet the challenges as it comes. Time came in my life when I had to make a decision whether to prepare for completion or go for some jobs or pursue my PhD program. I started exploring all. However, soon I came to conclusion that I should go for PhD program. I met with Professor Devendra Mishra ji and he also encouraged me to go for the PhD program. I met again with Mishra ji and expressed my concern and anguish. I requested him to accept me under his supervision. And you will be surprised that without any thinking, he accepted my request, and that was the beginning of my life. I underline, that was the beginning of my life. My wish was fulfilled because I wanted to submit my thesis in his supervision as the head of the department. On his advice, I spent some time to go to Delhi School of Economics and meet with some eminent econometricians like Professor Nagar and Krishna. I went to IIT Kanpur for the analysis of my data early. Finally, time came for submission. That is the climax of the story I am telling you. I was very scared. I remember the date and time still, that it was the month of February 1983. Early in the morning, I went to Mishra ji's residence in the front of Mainul Haq Stadium main gate and rang the bell. Professor Devendra Mishra ji came out as usual and he saw the bundle in my Gandhian shoulder bag and he smiled. And he asked me, "What is this? And so early in the chilly cool morning?" I could not speak. I could not speak and placed the copies of my thesis on the coffee table in the veranda. Now, you will not believe, very rarely one can believe. He asked me for a pen and signed in spite of my repeated request to take time and sign at his convenience. He said, "I trust you and a copy of it will come to me." That was the next another beginning in my life with him. I can say that There nothing can explain that moment. Only I can say in a spiritual way, give, love and seva. I was humbled by his trust in me, and that gave me a lot of confidence in my personality. The person like Professor Devendra Mishra, he said that I trust you. At that time, I had joined the PG Department of Statistics in Patna University in April 1979, but I moved to BN College for 2 years and again came back to PG Department of Statistics. He did his best to make sure that my PhD degree is awarded in time. Such was Professor Devendra Mishra ji for his student that he can go to any distance to support and help them. I invited him as a chief guest in BN College to inaugurate the Statistical Society in BN College campus. In my address, in spite of calling him chief guest, I addressed him as a chief minister. I was so nervous in front of him, but I corrected immediately, and Dr. S.K. Bose, principal, saved me by saying that maybe it is your wish that he should be the chief minister of Bihar in near future. Mishra ji smiled and blessed me. That was Professor Devendra Mishra ji. Now I am coming to the point. The citation which I gave to him in BN College was hanging in his drawing room till late. Whenever I saw that Manpatra citation, I remembered how one could be given respect, could be learned from Professor Devendra Mishra ji, how he gave honor and respect to a small person like me. I salute Professor Devendra Mishra ji for thinking for the students how they can earn their livelihood, how they can get employment, and that way he expanded statistics in many colleges and many places. If that time I had 20 rupees in my pocket only, I wanted not to disappear also for a long time because Gurudev may look for me. I drove my motorcycle to the Nala road and I saw a framed photo of rose flower with water dropping on its petals, and it was within my budget. I asked to wrap that and give that gift packet that was also hanging in the drawing room for a long time. That is my Gurudev, Professor Devendra Mishra ji, an ideal and a great teacher. He always used to come to the department in time and stay there till evening. There was a system that tea club was functioning and all faculty members used to assemble in the lunch time to have tea together. That was the time to take updates and report also if there is any problem. Professor Devendra Mishra ji maintained that tradition till his retirement. He took keen interest in the teaching himself in spite of his busy schedule and having many administrative responsibilities and headship and the deanship of the Faculty of Science. He had a very high reputation in the university, and if there was a one-man inquiry, let me say one person inquiry. I am very gender sensitive. If there is one person inquiry, it will be given to Professor Devendra Mishra ji due to his honesty, due to his impartiality, due to his integrity. Nobody can dare to pressurize him for undue advantage and impartiality. But most important thing is that still I have some question in mind, and I will put the question to Professor Amarendra Mishra ji and to the audience also today. How to get control of your time and life can be learned from Professor Devendra Mishra ji. He knew it very well. Last, I will just say that he was not only a gentle person and great human being, he was a worthy father and able guardian. He gave excellent training to all his children. He remembered that he will call somebody, I remember that, he will call somebody and a boy or girl will appear immediately. He or she will listen to him, with all due respect and follow the instruction even to bring tea, coffee for everybody. Still I wonder what was his secret code to convey that different type of nutrition, different were served according to the guest stature. Sometimes he will call Maya, mother of Professor Devendra Mishra, whom he also used to call Mai. And our Gurudev was his Babuji, and ask her, Professor Devendra Mishra will call Maya and ask her for some special item to prepare for us. She was a great lady and caring for everybody. Without her full support, all those hospitality would not have been offered with confidence. Professor Mishra ji or Professor Devendra Mishra ji never went inside to give some instructions, but their message was conveyed appropriately inside. What was the secret code? I still don't know. Many examiners used to enjoy his hospitality whenever they came on an official duty to our department. By now, I had become a family member by that time. I played the entire role expected from him. Still, my memories are fresh. The marriage of Markandey Rai and Ramendra ji. I did everything possible to and feel fortunate that Gurudev gave such honor to me. In Ramendra ji's marriage ceremony, Professor Ramendra Mishra ji was on a foreign assignment in Libya and performed all the role of Amarendra ji also. When time came, he swore that he is truly my guardian and I have become a part of the family. When he left his mortal body in 2005 for heavenly abode, luckily I had come to India and came to Patna and paid my last respect when Professor Amarendra Mishra ji was leaving for his village and he was about to leave and I reached his gate. What a telepathic relation! What a coincidence! Had I missed for a moment, that day I would not have forgiven me. I paid my last respect to Amarendra Mishra ji by touching him, hugging him, and seeing him off to go to village for the last rituals and Brahma Bhoja. I am fortunate that I have his blessings. I remember that he had blessed me to write a book and he signed the first page. From that time I kept that page with great respect, and I can say that with that inspiration I am able to write more than a dozen books and many reports. After all, I will conclude. Great men not only determine the events in their own time, but also remain an inspiration that lasts year beyond. I just pay my respect. Sat Sat Naman to Pujya Gurudev. Sat Sat Naman to Pujya Gurudev. Whatever I am today, I am his manifestation. I read with core of my heart in his respect, and thank you for listening. And I can say that Amarendra Mishra is following his legacy. He is a worthy son of a worthy father, the way Mr. Sinha has also mentioned. And we are proud of him that he has started Devendra Mishra Institute of Statistics. I commit my support the way he wants to promote that the institute, to make this legacy. Institution is always remain, and we will remember Devendra Mishra ji ever in our life. Thank you so much. Priyadarshini, back to you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are privileged to hear about the immortal Professor Devendra Mishra, sir, from you, sir. I really learned a lot from you, sir, how to keep your relation with your teacher always alive. And I hope all of us present here are motivated by your lecture. We all are overwhelmed by your words, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a motivating and informative lecture full of precious moments that you experienced in his company. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I request our second speaker, Dr. Rama Shankar, sir, Before
Thank
starting
you.
his lecture, I would like to give a brief introduction of you, sir. Dr. Rama Shankar sir is a former student of Patna University and presently he is the head of the Department of Statistics, Assam University. He was a professor and head for many years at the Eritrea Institute of Technology, Asmara, Eritrea, East Africa. Dr. Ramashankar has excelled himself in the field of statistics and has more than 160 research papers in statistics so far to his credit in various international journals. Also, he has authored some books in mathematics and statistics. I request you, sir, to deliver your talk.
Thank you, Dr. Priyadarshini. First of all, I would like to pay my great respect, and it is my privilege to deliver a talk on the memory of Professor Devendra Mishra, a father of my respected teacher and guru, Professor Amarendra Mishra. I would like to pay my respect and say thanks, and I welcome my respected teachers whom I am seeing here. Of course, my guru, Professor Amarendra Mishra, Professor R.N. Mishra, Professor S.K. Singh, Professor Kumar Sinha, Dr. Markandey Rai, Professor Anchala Kumari, Ajit Kumar Sinha ji, my other senior colleagues, friends, students, and I also welcome some of my colleagues and students from abroad. Particularly, I am observing from Iran, Pakistan, Egypt, Turkey, and Canada. In fact, I am going to deliver my talk on statistics and applications in real life. So before I go to speak, let me share my slides. So let me briefly explain that how I felt fascinated with the applications of statistics in real life. The story is that after completing my PhD in 2003 under the supervision of Professor Amarendra Mishra, I worked 2-3 years in India as a guest faculty in the Department of Mathematics, Patna University, and Department of Statistics, BN College. Then in 2006, 5th April, I went to Eritrea, and there I joined as assistant professor in the College of Business and Economics, and there I used to teach this statistics for business and economics, mathematics for business and economics, and operation research to management, marketing, economics students. During the course of teaching, what I have observed the difference between the students of India and the students of Africa, that nowadays African students are very much fascinated to know the real life applications of the topic that they are studying. So I still remember when I was delivering a lecture and teaching variance. Then one of the students, when I was telling that if you minimize the variance by making all the variables equal, all the values of the variable equal, then the variance will become 0, or you can minimize it. And I told him, all of a sudden it came to my mind, and I told them that the same thing is applicable in our life, that if we have a purpose, if we have a goal, and if we channelize our thinking, feeling, speaking, action, and listening towards the goal, then there is no doubt that we can achieve our goal. Then after hearing this, the students told me that, sir, if we are able to do this one, can we achieve anything? I told yes. And after that, students were regularly in touch with me, and that was the turning point of my life to think about the applications of all the statistical techniques in the real life. And that I still remember that it was the year 2007, and from that I started reading a lot of books on motivation and other things, and trying to correlate the concept of the statistics. And then I I come to the conclusion with so many things. Of course, in this lecture, I am going to talk about the mean, the mode, variance, and the Bayes theorem. In fact, if you ask me honestly, I like the Bayes theorem most, because it is the theorem which explains the beauty of the karma, the impact of the karma in life that we are hearing since childhood. In fact, it will explain the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana, that the two ancient scriptures of India. So let me proceed briefly. Of course, some I have written because there are some of my students and some junior colleagues. For them, briefly, I will explain some terminology. Like the formal definition of statistics. We all know statistics is the science of collecting, organizing, presenting, analyzing, and interpreting data to assist in making more efficient decisions. This formal definition has been used and being used in almost every field of knowledge to know or understand the system or the nature of the population of interest that is happening in the world. But here I am more interested in the informal definition of statistics. And let us see what are the informal definitions of statistics. One is it is the science of learning from or making sense out of data or information. Here I will use the Bayes theorem. Second is it is the theory and methods of extracting information from observational data or experimental data for solving real world problems. Here also the Bayes theorem is mostly applicable. Next is it is the science of uncertainty, and it is due to this the probability theory emerged. Next, it is the science of variation, and it is the science of cause and effect that I will explain. It is a multidisciplinary science. Above all, the last one, I like that it is the art of telling a story with the data. Here I would like to say that some of the books and the movie I have seen, like The Secret, statistics is the biggest lie in the world. I was very much curious about this, but how people are telling that the statistics is the biggest lie. If it is the biggest lie, then why we are studying? Then later on I realized that it is not in the sense that it is the biggest lie that what we are thinking. It is lie in the sense that majority of the people in this world, I can say that 99% people of this world, they don't know the beauty and the sense of statistics. This is due to the fact that the society is information illiterate. Here I am making it 3 stages. Information literacy, which most people misunderstand, is the 3rd generation of literacy. The first generation of literacy is when you know how to read and write. And when you are able to handle computer and know some programming, you are 2nd generation literate. But when transiting to a knowledge society, it is critical for all of us to be information literate or the 3rd generation literate. So it is in this context that statistics is said to be the biggest lie, because most of the people are not understanding. So it is the need of the hour for all of the teachers of statistics, the students of statistics, to know its sense and beauty, propagate it, defend it, and try to analyze the information truly, from where the information is coming, how far the information is true, or what is the sense of this information. And one of the purposes of statistics is to bring about information literacy in the society. And here I can say that still statistics is a child in bringing the information literacy in the society. If that does not happen, then statistics can be used to prove or disprove anything. And it is the subject of statistics which would bear the burden of ridicule. And that's what is happening nowadays. So it is up to all of us, faculty, students and practitioners alike, to redirect our efforts towards spreading information literacy in the society. These are the opinions that I have collected and what I have felt important. The first is that let us see what C.R. Rao in the preface of his famous book Statistics and Truth said. All knowledge is, in the final analysis, history. All sciences are, in the abstract, mathematics. And all methods of acquiring knowledge are essentially statistics. See the beauty of statistics. Wherever the new knowledge is coming in the world, certainly statistics is playing a major role. Wherever the expansion of the subject is coming, statistics is playing a major role. Wherever new plannings or new things to be done, statistics is playing a major role. And the terms that statistics, like in India we say that paras patthar, the stone which you touch with any iron, it will become gold. So in this case, I can say that statistics is a paras patthar. It is so powerful. It converts a branch of knowledge into a new discipline. For example, if you combine biology and statistics, it will bring a new branch that is biostatistics or biometrics. If you combine statistics with sociology, then it will change a new discipline that is sociometry. Similarly, psychology and statistics, psychometry. Economics plus mathematics and statistics, it will bring econometrics. Chemistry plus statistics, then it will give a new branch, chemometrics. Statistics plus physics, statistical physics. Statistics and geography, spatial statistics. Literature and statistics, then stylometry. And nowadays, stylometry is gaining popularity in terms of research, because stylometry deals with the measuring the literary style, right? Literary style of an author, and so on. Now, as my topic is the applications of statistics in personal and real life. So, of course, some of the topics that I feel that are very much important to all of us to know it and understand it, then only we can use this. So that are mean, the mode, of course the highlight that I will pay attention to that one, the median, the variance, skewness, kurtosis, Bayes theorem, law of large number, correlation, regression, analysis of variance, design of experiment, randomization, replication and local control. In fact, most of the new discoveries and new theories in education, in medical science and others are coming using this design of experiments and Bayes theorem. Then sample survey, sampling techniques, outliers, estimation, of course, hypothesis and testing. But I feel that if we are not doing all these, there is no problem. But if we are not understanding the mean, the mode, the variance and the Bayes theorem, then certainly we are losing many things. And if we know this one, then certainly we can make our life meaningful with health, wealth, happiness, love, joy, laughter, peace of mind and wisdom. Of course, many people always feel that what do you mean by wisdom? But I define this wisdom, that is the understanding of who I am. Why did I come on this earth? What are my unique qualities? And how can I serve human beings with my unique qualities? So if we know the answer of these four questions, it means that we have the wisdom. We have the understanding, real understanding. Of course, mean no need of defining, because we know that it is commonly known as arithmetic mean, and it is the average or the sum of the numbers divided by the number of observations. In this talk, I will call the mean the center of the data like that. Here I will call that center of our objective or the goal of the purpose. Mode, we know the value of the variable having maximum frequency. Now I am very much fascinated with mode, means that okay, the value of the variable which has maximum frequency is really highlighted and we know all. Now in the same way, our thinking, our feeling, our speaking, our listening and our action has frequency. They all have magnetic power. And mode has applications in almost every field of knowledge, including the fashion industry, is totally based on this mode. The politics nowadays, the politics in India or politics in other countries, the politicians are using this concept of mode heavily. Business, health and happiness, some among others. Here the variance, that is the variation, and here the central point is, of course, in the mathematical terminology, variance is defined as the arithmetic mean of the squares of deviation of a set of values from the arithmetic mean. But here I will use in the context that suppose I have a goal in my life, okay, and certainly to achieve that goal, my thinking should be directed, my feelings should be directed, my listening should be directed, my hearing should be directed, and my actions should be directed. If all are centered around that one, then of course I have very less variation from the goal, and there is no doubt that I will not achieve my goal. So whoever is not achieving their purpose or the goal in life, if they examine it carefully, they will find that there was much variation among his feeling, thinking, speaking, listening, and action towards his goal or the purpose. Now here, I will talk about this. Of course, when I was in India or when I was a student, even up to doing my PhD, I never heard or read in any book that how the Bayes theorem was emerged. But while teaching at College of Business and Economics in Eritrea, when I found a book and there I read some information about that how Thomas Bayes developed this Bayes theorem. I was so curious about that. And let us see that in the 18th century, the Reverend Thomas Bayes, he was an English Presbyterian minister, pondered over the question, does God really exist? And it was not his question. Those who were coming to the church, they were asking. And how he can convince, it was very difficult for him. But of course, he was interested in mathematics, and at that time the set theory was more important. So he attempted to develop a formula to arrive at the probability that God does exist on evidence that was available to him. And of course, what he had done, he had prepared a 2x2 table. Left side he put that the believer in God, not believer in God, and above successful or happy, not happy. And with this, he has find out all the priori probability, likelihoods, and then the posterior probability, and he proved that does God really exist. Of course, that problem I am not discussing here. That was there. And see, the gist of the Bayes theorem is, the Bayes theorem says that, this is very, very important, the probability of a cause, given the effect, is proportional to the probability of effect given the cause. And that is nothing but what our Bhagavad Gita says, that the karma. If suppose something, then with channelizing our thinking, feeling, speaking, action, we can go and find out the cause that why this has happened to me. There is no need to asking someone that why this is happening to me, because whatever the cause was there, with that the effect is there. Of course, most of the people in statistics, even nowadays, many the statisticians, they always criticize the Bayesian statistics, but I love the Bayesian statistics. And what is the problem? The main criticism about the applicability of Bayes theorem is that it involves a backward or inverse sort of reasoning from effect to cause. But it is precisely the inverse aspect of Bayes theorem which makes it to play an important role in statistical influence, where our reasoning goes from observed sample data to the population from which they come. This is the formula of the Bayes theorem. So here, I would like to say that suppose this, even I am talking about this thinking, feeling, listening, speaking and action, 5. So let E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 are our basic thinking, feeling, speaking, listening and action. And A is our effect. So how much we are thinking, how much we are feeling, and how much we are hearing, listening and speaking and acting, then what will be the impact of A? That is the outcome. So this EI is a priori event, the initial events. A given EI are the likelihoods that if E1 is happening, what is the likelihood of A, E2 is happening later. And this probability of EI given is the posterior event. So here A is the effect and EI is the cause. Now, of course, this no need of reading that how the belief and evidence are playing a major role. Now let us come to the main topic, that the purpose of life. As in the beginning I told that I am keeping purpose of life as a wormwood. Of course, purpose of life will differ from person to person according to their desire and brought up. But what I feel that the purpose of life should be life of purpose, a purpose of creating, helping and adventuring rather than acquiring, hoarding and comparing. This is very, very important. And in fact, all life problems are coming from these three. Instead of creating, we are acquiring. Instead of helping, we are hoarding. And instead of adventuring, we are comparing. And these three are downgrading our power of feeling, thinking, speaking, and actions. And I have observed, and even you too might have observed, that human beings whose life is based on the purpose of acquiring, hoarding, and comparing will ultimately lead to frustration, tension, depression, and disease. And this I fully convince those who are having frustration, tension, depression, and disease, somehow they are a little bit creating healthy, acquiring, hoarding, and comparing. And of course, those who are on creating, helping, and advancing, their life is full of health, wealth, happiness, love, joy, love, peace of mind, and wisdom. Now, the two quotes I like, the one is from the Upanishad, which is a very sacred book. What he says, it says, whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you say, whatever you listen, and whatever you do, you attract to you. So if we think over this, suppose if I am poor, it means that I am paying attention to poverty. I am feeling poor from inside, and I am talking about poverty. I am listening about the poverty, and even I am doing the same thing. Similarly, if I am healthy, it means that I am thinking about my good health always. I am feeling healthy, and I am saying that I am healthy, and I am listening healthy thoughts, and I am doing the exercise or something like that. Similarly, if I am not well respected in the society, then certainly my thinking diminishing me. I am thinking that I am not getting respect in the society, same way the feeling and I am saying. Because these all have magnetic power. And this Upanishad is not now, it is how many thousands of years back they have mentioned. And of course, most of the theories in social scientists, developed by social scientists, psychologists, medical experts, on this one, using statistical techniques like randomized replication and local control, technique or component of design of experiment, and more, and Bayes theorem. And they have established this truth. And nowadays the whole world is working on that. Now my question is that how the great things we have, but still as a statistician, we are busy with the clerical job of just collecting the data from the field, from the states, from the somewhere, and giving that. But we never bother that the millions of thoughts we are generating, we are millions of feelings we have, millions of saying we have, we are speaking lots of things whole day. We are releasing lot of things every day and doing lot of things which are not at all related with our goal. And that is the reason that we are feeling a life of frustration, tension, pressure, and indigestion. Now, this thought I love very much. That is also a thought, words from great Indian philosopher Patanjali, and everywhere I quote. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations, your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you ever dreamt yourself to be. Here again, it reminds that we all human beings have the suffering or the problems due to a small purpose. And what is a small purpose? Just to get a job, just to have a house, just to have a car, and just to have some friends. I am sure, according to my observation, 99% people of this world, they are just thinking about their job, money, house. If they have one house, they will go for the two house. If they have one land plot, they will go for the second, third, fourth. But how many of us are really feeling always the pain that no, we have to contribute something great for the world, because the world should be greater. What we have received from our ancestors, at least we have to do something to make it a better place for the coming generations. But as a statistician, I can see that less than 1% people of this world are having a great purpose of creating this world a better place for the coming generation. But we all are busy with acquiring, hoarding, and just competing. Now, here I will go for some case studies. In fact, I have mentioned here, I think already I spoke about this one. The last point is that to know the cause and effect, that is the effect, Bayes' theorem will give you the answer. Theory of karma, cause of the effect, can be explained using Bayes' theorem. And in fact, here I would like to quote that although I am not a applied statistician, my field was distribution theory, and I have developed some probability distributions and their application. But always I feel, even I always discuss here, my new faculty has joined the department, Dr. Vivek Verma. He has worked in AIMS, and he is a very good expert in Bayesian analysis. In fact, her papers are published in a very high-level journal having high impact factor. I always telling him that I always feel that if a person have any type of disease, whatever the serious disease, then certainly that is related with somehow his thinking, feeling, listening, speaking, and action. I met some of the patients who were suffering from the cancer, even the diabetes, whether when I was in Eritrea, even in India, wherever. Of course, it is very difficult to get the true picture, but if you come to the closer to the patient, or if you come closer to one of his relative or colleague, they will tell you his some secrets. And with that, I am fully convinced that these 5 factors are playing a major role. And that's what the Bayes' theorem is telling. Of course, I always suggest to the people that please work on this one and develop a model that how much impact this life has, so that we can channelize the thinking, listening, speaking, actions, and feeling of the people towards that one. So if what we want, we have to channelize in that way. Now, of course, here I have already given the example. For example, one example I will explain. These all I have observed, and in the experiment my students have done something like, first, how a student achieve grade in all courses. This is my famous example, that experiment I have done when I was in Eritrea. They are the same thing when I was teaching variance, and I told him that if you decide about your goal and if you channelize your thinking, feeling, speaking, action and hearing towards that goal, that there is a high probability that you will achieve it. So the simple experiment, I told him that you write on a piece of paper that how many courses you have. Left side he wrote the name of the courses, right side he wrote the name, the grade. And I told him that morning when you get up, just you see the name of the courses and the grade. In the night you do that one, that is a part of regulation. And you move and talk in such a way that yes, I have achieved a grade. I told him that the universe always says yes to your feeling. Because what you think, it will generate feeling. What you hear, it will generate feeling. What you speak, it will generate feeling. So once these three things are there, then you will get the feeling. I told him that how a child, after getting a toy or the desired item from the parents, they feel happy. That feeling you have to bring. You have to feel that now already achieved. So once you channelize your feelings towards your goal, then the universe will say yes, tatha astu, you will get it. And that's what he has done. Similarly, about the papers that I was talking, my respected son and others have talked. In fact, I went in 2006, but from 2006 to 2000, almost 12 only one paper. 5-6 years I didn't do anything. I was just always thinking that I have to do something which is different from others. And just 5 to 6 years I took in thinking this one, that how can I do something different which people are now thinking in that one. Of course, I have done my PhD on discrete distributions, that is generalized logarithmic distributions and their applications. But I was more interested in the continuous case. And the idea came in 2012, and I too use the same thing, that is thinking, feeling, speaking, hearing, and speaking and actions. I was all channelizing towards the getting the new idea. Of course, there are so many things that you have some written statement that what you want, that you have to read morning and evening, and that was the effect. That after that, from 2000, I can say that 13 to 2018, I was working well, and I have done a lot of things. After that also I have. Then this, the next point is the cancer. Of course, the present day world, the doctors and many people are telling that the cancer is not curable. In the rare case, you can cure. But here also, I have observed that if you have certain problem, and if you are always thinking about the problem, you are talking about the problem, you are hearing about the problem, you are feeling about the problem, and you are taking action in the forms of taking medicine, this and that, then instead of curing it, it will aggravate your problem. And in this regard, I know a lady that when she diagnosed with a cancer and doctor told that you have life for not more than 6 months, she was from, of course, a rich family, and she thought that, okay, if I am going to die, then let me finish my all money and travel all over the world. Then she started moving everywhere, because somewhere she read that if you forget about your problem, then there is a high chance that you will get cured. But the question is that how you will forget about the problem. There is only one technique, that you go for the service of the mankind. You will forget only you when you totally devote your life for the welfare of the others. So that's what she was doing. She was always playing with the children, with the people, the social work, this, that, all. And when she will feel fully tired, then she will go to bed and sleep. The moment she will get up, again she will engage the thing. So after 6 months, one night idea came to her that, oh, I was having this one and now 6 months has crossed. So let me consult a doctor. She met a doctor diagnosed it, and the doctor was surprised to know that she is free from the cancer. Again, she went to another doctor, the same thing. Then the doctor itself asked her that, what you have done? which medicine you have taken? She told that only one medicine I have taken. That I sacrificed my life after hearing that for the welfare of the people, for the service of the mankind, for the betterment of the mankind. And that was the only medicine I had. Similarly, this experiment also I have done in Eritrea Institute of Technology, how a simple boy who was very black, ugly type, and he finally succeeded in marrying a very beautiful and rich girl. Of course, this is also how a simple teacher become a great teacher, but I think all are related with that one. I think one more slide is there. I have some sentences, and in fact, I am practicing, and I have given to many people to practice this one, and it has a good impact. Like I was telling that the more how your frequency of feeling, thinking, speaking, action, hearing are channelized towards your goal, that will materialize in that way. The first one is that I am open and accept and approve of myself exactly as I am. In fact, this second sentence I like very much. Those people who are having the problem of depression or a disease or something, then they will always think, oh, now I don't like myself. I am depressed. Somebody is not loving themselves for their height, for the color, or something like that. So I always need to tell them that you should repeat, I love, respect, and approve of myself exactly as I am. Second is, I deserve the best, I expect the best, I accept the best, and I am receiving the best now. Then, of course, the fourth one is not my statement, it is by the French renowned doctor. Whenever the patient will visit, most of the times he will not give the medicine, he will just write on a piece of paper, he just repeat always, day by day, in every way I am getting better and better, and younger and younger. In the same way, in the beginning, in the French, and even when he went to USA, people declared him a mad doctor. But he has cured most of his patients with this sentence. Of course, then I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. In fact, this has a high meaning. I am whole, perfect, means that we are what is in the universe is inside me. So it has high meaning. Same, I am more than I appear to be. All the world's strength and power is inside me. Then I am genius and apply my wisdom. I am victorious and success is my birthright. I am grateful to every moment and celebrate every moment. I have the best of everything every moment, and I wish the best of everything to everyone every. Now, this I would like to suggest to everyone that if we do this one at least morning and evening, certainly it will create a very good environment and make this world a better place. The first one is that I wish everyone in this world health, wealth, happiness, love, joy, laughter, peace of mind, and wisdom. And second one is very much important, that I am surrounded by and connected with all the good, loving, and happy people of the universe who are operating at higher level of consciousness. If we repeat this second sentence, then definitely sometimes we are affected by the company of the bad people, or sometimes people who are diminishing us, or some people who are downgrading us. Definitely they will not connect to us. So this is a very, very important, and this, I am developing still, I didn't complete it, but what I feel that nowadays, everywhere you go to some offices or somewhere, people are not working, and of course, corruption is a very big phenomenon in the world. So, there I feel that just few sentences, of course, first is the same, that second is that if you repeat this one, then certainly it will, after passage of time, it will give you the sense that you will not deviate. Like I am doing because I am. This is the most powerful feeling and the word, sentence in the world to get what you want from, how to get what you want from where you are. I am doing my job with punctuality, enthusiasm, devotion, honesty, and integrity. I am doing my job with belief that service to mankind is service to God. I am doing my job with without any attachment to religion, caste, creed, and favor. I am dead against any type of bribe, because bribe is the greatest sin in the world. What I have felt while doing this experiment, of course, many people are not doing. So if there is two possibilities. Suppose if I am a very bad guy, if I am not doing my job properly, for example, as a teacher, if I am not teaching well, I know that I don't have a good concept of the subject, I am not justifying my job, then what will happen? When you repeat this one, you will feel a structural tension in your mind. That you will read this one, but from the mind, from inside you will know, but I don't know the subject. So two things will happen. Either by repeating this sentence regularly, you will be a very good person, or you will go for the frustration and you will leave the job. So, but most of the times, what you speak and feel and write, it will work. And it is working. I have done some experiment on this one from colleagues of the other countries. And of course, this is not required morning prayer. This I do always. It is not like this. See, I love silence. I love peace. I love to. For example, what you love, that you will accept, and what you accept, that you will sow, and what you sow, you are inside that. So in that pattern, then I am in silence. I am in peace. I am in love. I am in truth, and finally, you will become the same. Like I am silence, I am peace, I am love, I am truth. And this is the greatest secret of the wisdom. Just I felt and wrote on this one. Now, finally, I wish one and all who are present here health, wealth, happiness, love, joy, Lord, peace of mind, and wisdom. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry for taking too much time. Thank you.
For your informative speech. You have shown us a new perspective to see statistics, how statistics play an important role in our day-to-day social and spiritual life. So, as you explained that one of the purpose of the statistics is to bring about information literacy in the society. You compared statistics with Paras Patthar, was very interesting. So we really learned a lot, sir, that how our actions really influence our life to a great extent. Thank you, sir, for sharing your ideas and views with us. Now I request Dr. Anchala Kumari ma'am to please propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Professor Rama Kumar Sinha, respected Professor Rama Kumar Sinha, ex-Vice Chancellor, Patna University, the two key speakers of today's function, Dr. Markandey Rai ji, retired advisor, senior advisor, UN Habitat, Chancellor, Global Open University, Nagaland, and Chancellor, IDTMS, University, Arunachal Pradesh, Professor Devendra Mishra ji, former head, Department of Statistics and Dean Faculty of Science, Dr. Rama Shankar, Head, Department of Statistics, Assam University, Mr. Ajit Kumar Sinha ji, Managing Director, DMIS, Professor Arvind Mishra ji, Shrikant ji, and all the members of DMIS and participants. It is my great privilege and I feel honored to propose vote of thanks to all the distinguished guests and friends present here. Before that I do this, first I would like to say a few words about respected sir. I won't use the word late, respected sir, Professor Devendra Mishra. I pay my heartfelt tribute to him, first of all. As already mentioned by Dr. Markandey ji and Ajit Kumar Sinha ji, no doubt Professor Mishra was a renowned professor who was nationally and internationally known, a great scholar, a strict and good administrator. He was man of great discipline and had passion for statistics. He always tried to live for others and serve others. He always considered the department as one family, and all the staff in whatever capacity they were as the family members, and always try to take care of them. He is a role model for all of us and will be a role model for the coming generation as well. He was not only a teacher, he was a mentor, he was a guide, he was a guardian, and always guided his students to work, to choose a right path. I feel proud to be a student, or rather I would say I feel proud that he was my teacher. What I am today is only due to him only. Sat Sat Naman to Devan So. As Professor Arun Kumar Sinha is here, present here, and as he is our teacher, so it is my bounded duty to thank him first. Sir, I am extremely thankful to you for blessing us with your blessing and blessing the occasion with your valuable presence. Dr. Markandey Ji, before that he left for his foreign assignment, he was here in the department for some time, and also he was in BM College. That means he was in the same university. We worked in the same university, Patna University as a colleague. And now he is a good friend of mine. On the behalf of organizing committee, all members, DMIS, on my behalf, from the very bottom of my heart, I extend my sincere thanks to you, Markandey Ji, for sparing your valuable time and blessing the occasion by your interesting and illuminating thought, granting for according us glimpses into illustrious life of Professor Mishra. You very well, very nicely shared some of the emotional moments which you had with him, and I'm really overwhelmed. Thank you, Dr. Markandey Ji. It is really a very proud moment when a student, very proud moment for a teacher when a student of his or her reaches the heights and holds a very high post in his career. Today, no doubt, I am feeling very proud to propose vote of thanks to Dr. Rama Shankar. He has been my student at graduation, at honors and PG level. Thank you so much, Rama Shankar Ji, for your excellent and excited lecture on application of statistics in real life. I find my vocabulary exhausted while extending my sense of appreciation to Professor Devendra Mishra Ji. As told by Dr. Markandey Ji and Ajit Kumar Sinha Ji, no doubt, he is a worthy son of worthy father, but the Professor D. Mishra was, how he was, a large enhanced image is reflected through his son, Professor Amarendra Mishra Ji. Besides a well-recognized professor of statistics and great scholar, he is a poet and writer and has published so many books. Recently, his one book, Objective Statistics, has also been published. He always motivated his students with inspirational lectures. I never got the opportunity to be his student, but I could learn a lot from him. Always he had been the source of inspiration for me. I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to Professor Mishra for organizing such an inspirational and motivational seminar. I also acknowledge my thanks to Mr. Ajit Ji, Managing Director, DMIS. He very well explained through light on the life sketch of Professor Mishra, and for his all support and cooperation and for making the seminar a great success. I deem it a great honor to thank to all members DMIS and participants for their valuable presence and cordial cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for proposing the vote of thanks. With this, we have come to an end of this auspicious program to remember and memorize a great human being, a great teacher, a great statistician, and a great guide and mentor for all those belonging to him. I believe that he must be blessing all of us present here from heaven. Thank you, all of you, for joining this program.
From the core of my heart, express my thankfulness to all of you who made this evening memorable. I have become emotional, and usually on such occasions I get emotional. It is not a formality. You believe me, I am not speaking from my lips. I am speaking directly from my heart, and from deep my heart I thank you all for joining this Devendra Mishra Memorial Lecture. I find many eminent personalities who attended this memorial lecture. I am happy to see one of the leading advocates of Patna, Sri Awadh Bihari Oza ji, and I observed that from the very beginning he was continuously listening to the lectures. I find Sri Sachidanand Chaturvedi ji, he is also with us, and from the very beginning of today's function he was listening to all the talks. I have no words. Many other persons are there. I am thankful to all of them. Really speaking, I do not get appropriate words to express my gratefulness to all of you. Professor Devendra Mishra would always be alive. This I came to know today when you people have so much respect, so much memory in your mind for him. He will never die, never die. He would always be alive in our hearts. Thank you very much.